Pim von Lommels studie ble publisert i Lancet, som et av verdens mest anerkjente legetidsskrifter. Han tror ikke lenger på hallusinasjonsteorien.
Hallucinations are not possible because you need a functioning brain to have hallucination.
I tillegg hadde ikke disse menneskene forandret seg så mye hvis det bare var hallusinasjon, mener han.
There is no transformation after an hallucination. So, by definition, a near-death experience cannot be a hallucination.
Jeff Long tror heller ikke lenger nær-døden-opplevelsene hallusinasjoner. Han viser til en av personene i forskningsmaterialet som har overbevist ham om at hjernen, uansett hvor ekstreme forhold den utsatt for, ikke selv kan skape nær-døden-opplevelsen.
I've been completely blind since birth, and I've never been able to see shadows or light or anything. And in my dreams, of course, there is nothing visual either. I just have taste, touch, sound and smell, but no visual impressions.
Vi besøker Vicky Brasson, som bor i utkanten av Seattle. På vei hjem fra jobben en dag havner hun i en alvorlig bilulykke der hun blir slynget ut gjennom frontruten. På sykehuset får hun hjertestans i over 4 minutter. Hun forlater kroppen og opplever for første gang i livet å kunne se.
I was up on the Harborview Medical Center ceiling, looking down at everything they were doing with my body.
Just don't think she's going to make it.
And the female doctor said, well, we don't even know if she's going to survive. And I thought, oh no, is that me they're talking about? And am I dead? And I was really disoriented and feeling quite confused. I recognized my wedding ring from my first marriage, and I had seen that they'd shaved off a good deal of my hair.
Men hvordan det plutselig å ha en sans en aldri har hatt før?
It was frightening and eerie and foreign to perceive of things from that vantage point. It was not pretty at first. It was really scary to be able to see. But I saw with my whole being, not with eyes. It was like I could see all around me. And I could pick up on the thoughts of the doctors before they spoke. It was just strange. The whole thing was very weird.
Vicky prøver å komme i kontakt med sykepleieren.
I tried to let her know that I was okay, and I reached out my right hand, and my right hand went through her right arm. And that really freaked me out.
Vicky opplever at hun farer inn i en tunnel av lys der hun møter avdøde slektninger og venner. Og hele tiden ser hun alt.
Light was light. I don't know how else to describe it to you except that I saw different shades and brilliances of light in everything, in the flowers, in the people. It was really fantastic. The most wonderful thing about being able to see was just being able to see and not worrying about what I might collide with.
Det finnes 30 dokumenterte beretninger som Vickys om blinde som opplever å se under nær-døden-opplevelsene. At blinde plutselig kan se i en tilstand der kroppen tilsynelatende død, vanskelig å forklare, mener Jeff Long.
There's absolutely no medical explanation, even theoretically possible. If you're born totally blind from birth, vision is an abstraction. You cannot explain vision to somebody born totally blind from birth in terms of the remaining 4 senses. It's impossible.
One thing I could say to any skeptic or somebody that would say that this was just the hallucinations of a dying brain or whatever, I have never been able to see. I have no way to relate to seeing. And this was something that I could never have hallucinated.
Vicky, Signe og Sven forlot alle tre kroppen og kunne beskrive hva som foregikk rundt dem. Hvis disse opplevelsene er virkelige, er vi altså i stand til å eksistere uten kropp. Det åpner også for spørsmålet om vi kan leve videre når kroppen dør. Men vi har bare deres ord for at det er sant. Er det mulig å bevise? Noen av de store studiene kan vise om det er mulig. Fordi alle pasientene i studiene var innlagt på sykehus, visste nøyaktig hva som foregikk rundt dem da de ble gjenopplivet.
About a third of people who have near-death experiences will leave the body and watch the resuscitation process. Now, if they do that, we know exactly when the near-death experience is occurring. And we know what the brain state is like.
Nå nærmer vi oss det mest springende punktet i forskningen. Når skjer opplevelsen?
It could be as people are going into this state of flat EEG, or it could be as they're coming out of it.
French erkjenner at en ikke kan hallusinere når det ikke er aktivitet i hjernen. Men hvis de for eksempel kan beskrive sin egen gjenopplivning detaljert, så må noe av opplevelsen også skje mens hjernen er ute av funksjon.
There is a strong body of anecdotal evidence that supports the idea that people who've gone through a cardiac arrest are able to see and hear doctors working on them.
Et eksempel på det er Lisa Bingham. Hun fikk hele livet forandret av en nær døden-opplevelse.
All of a sudden, I just was out of my body, and I was watching the machine, the heart machine, flatline from above.
Etter en operasjon opplevde hun å forlate kroppen, og dette skjedde tilsynelatende etter at hjertet hadde stoppet.
And then suddenly I was in a corner, just kind of waiting and watching as the nurses were panicking. Get her surgeon, get him, flatlining, just making all kinds of noise.
Etter flere minutters panikk blir Lisa ført tilbake til operasjonsstuen.
I was following myself back into the surgery room and in watching them fiddle with the different IVs and putting the paddles on and doing all that. I was above watching, and there was a light in the room that I remember. The lights that they have so they can perform the surgery. And I was above that light, watching myself.
Lisa er ikke i tvil om at opplevelsen var virkelig.
I know that it wasn't a dream. It wasn't, it happened.
Det er nå publisert flere slike historier der pasientene går ut av kroppen og kan beskrive detaljert hva som foregår etter at hjertet har stoppet og under gjenopplivningen. Det vil si, mens hjerneaktiviteten er borte.
These theoretical perceptions are very, very scientific, important, because it proves that the near-death experience happens during the period of cardiac arrest, and not in the first second.
Penny mener det ikke kan dreie seg om gjetning når pasientene nøyaktig kan beskrive hvordan de ble gjenopplivet.
There's no explanation for it, other than that we have to change our views on consciousness.
På bakgrunn av den nye forskningen medgir professor Chris French at den ikke kan gjette seg til gjenopplivningen. Forklaringen kan være at noe av hjernen fungerer selv når hjertet har stoppet.
The fact that people can report what's happening around them, and clearly they very often can, is compatible with the idea that they are not fully unconscious, or that in fact there are ways that we can take in information subcortically. They still have information coming in.
Men nevropsykiater Peter Fennick avviser at den kan sanse noe som helst når hjernen ikke fungerer under en hjertestans.
In order for conscious experience to arise, you require huge numbers of cells to be integrated together. And an idea that you can have little bits of consciousness in that catastrophic destruction of the basic physiology which supports consciousness has to be wrong.
There have now been 5 studies in total that have all independently confirmed the same finding, that people do indeed seem to have cognitive processes from a time when they have actually died.
De mange nøyaktige fortellingene fra gjenopplivede pasienter har ført til økt interesse for nær-døden-forskning. Sam Parnia i New York er derfor sammen med 25 sykehus i USA og Europa i gang med å undersøke ut-av-kroppen-opplevelser.
Those who claim to be in this so-called out-of-body state, the majority of them seem to focus on themselves. And so what we have done is strategically place these images above the head of the bed, assuming that if these claims are correct, that the person should hopefully pay attention to that as well.